We're going to demonstrate how to perform a punch biopsy today. Before you start, ensure you have all your equipment ready, including your local anaesthetic, alcohol wipe, swab, punch biopsy, and suture material and other equipment, as well as your pottle for pathology. Ensure, importantly, the patient is comfortable before you start and have a proper consent so that they're aware that their local anaesthetic is going to sting, as well as what the outcome of the biopsy process is going to be. Once everything's ready and the patient is comfortable, start getting your equipment ready so that the pottle is open, ready to receive the specimen when you have taken it. We perform some alcohol to the skin, so we're going to biopsy this area here, which is a little discoloration. So we're going to put some alcohol in the skin first. Then we're going to have the local anaesthetic ready to go. We always warn the patient about the stinging nature of local anaesthetic. And it's important to ensure that you have the consciousness about their skin tension lines, and you can change the direction that you hold your spare hand so you can ensure that the oval that you create by putting tension on the skin above and below the biopsy site will make an oval into that skin tension line. Once comfortable, then perform the needle with the bevel up, entering the skin at a 30 to 45 degree angle, and you're going for the deeper structures first into the subcutis for your first injections. Inject a little bit, gently and slowly. You'll start to see a blanching effect and also the bulge of the local anaesthetic going in. Once you start seeing that, you can move a bit more superficially and inject the final amounts into the dermis itself. We inject into the subcutis first because it tends to sting a little less as opposed to injecting into the dermis directly. Once you're ready, remove it and we're ready to go. We then get the punch biopsy equipment, which is a cutting edge in a circular fashion. We place it at a 45 degree angle to the skin, and you allow the cutting surface of the blade to do the work, and you just gently twist it in a motion with a little bit of gentle pressure down, and it will naturally cut through the surface of the epidermis, the dermis, and down into the subcutis. You don't have to force the biopsy process. Let that cutting edge do the work for you. Once you're through, you can gently pull out the punch biopsy, and you can see that there's this little plug of tissue, the circle of the epidermis on the top, and all the way down through the dermis into the subcutis fat. Normally, you would transfer it directly straight into the pottle for the pathology sample so that you don't lose the sample, and then sealing it as soon as you can so you don't knock it over. The next step is to ensure that you have the right patient, confirming that with the patient directly, as well as your notes and your pathology form, and writing it on the bottle in freehand, and then ensuring you have the right specimen site as well. We then close up the biopsy site using suture material, usually a non-absorbable suture material, such as a nylon-based material or polyester, and it's usually the simple interrupted sutures, whereby your tension on the skin, holding the edge, go in one side, starting at that 45 degree angle, letting the cutting point of the suture to do all the hard work, and then back out again. Trying to ensure that it's an equally spaced entry point and exit point on either side of the wound, bringing the suture all the way through, and then a simple interrupted suture to close with 2 throws, laying across flush the skin and gently bringing the edges together, knowing that when you throw the next suture, it's going to do that final tightening process to pull it all nice and tight. And the third throw. Then either you with the spare hand with the scissors or your assistant will cut the suture just to tighten things up, and we're done for a punch biopsy.